Hi, I'm Luz Dubé, and I love to talk about movies 24/7. I've been fascinated with films as long as I can remember, and I upload weekly. Today I'm going to be talking about Scream 2, which came out in 1997. It's about Ghostface returning at the college where Sidney Prescott and her friends are returning and hunting them down. It's directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. By the way, I accidentally said the wrong thing in the last video. I meant to say Kevin Williamson wrote three of the Scream movies, and Wes Craven directed four of them. So sorry for accidentally saying the wrong thing. But this movie stars Nev Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Jerry O'Connell, Elise Neal, Jamie Kennedy, Timothy Oliphant, Laurie Metcalf, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and many other great actors. All right, I'm going to start talking about the positives. I love the opening scene of this movie. I think it's a nice flip on the first movie's opening scene. First movie had Casey Becker all alone in her house, kind of in the middle of the nowhere, being attacked by Ghostface. But this is in a packed theater for the opening weekend of Stab. And Stab is basically the movie adaptation of Gail's book of what happened in the first movie. So it's a packed theater. The audience is absolutely insane. And there's a lot of talking. So that would either be really fun or really annoying, or probably a bit of both, honestly. But let me get to the point. So there's a couple, Maureen and Phil, I believe their names are. And they get killed in the packed theater, which is really scary because I feel like that could happen because no one realized what was happening because they just thought it was a publicity stunt and they didn't think anything of it. So I think that's a really creepy and scary thing that could happen, and it's a great opening scene. I love it. Like I said, I love all the opening scenes, but this is a great one. All right. I do really like the acting in this movie again. Nev Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox are amazing. I love Gail, Sidney, and Dewey. Great. Once again, amazing horror trio. I think Lev Schneider is a great addition as Cotton. He's a really interesting, unique character. He makes a great addition to this movie. I like how different he is, and you feel bad for him because obviously he's an innocent man, and that was accused of the wrong thing. But also he's just very shady too. So you obviously feel for Sydney because he's kind of just like constantly harassing her. But he's still very interesting and a new character. I think he's a great addition to the franchise overall. So I like his character. I also like the other character additions like Derek, the new boyfriend, Hallie, like the new killers. Joel, the cameraman's a nice addition. A lot of great new characters in this one, which I appreciated. Again, the directing is fantastic by Wes Craven. He's great with the chase scenes. I love the chase scenes in this movie. I think the one between Gale and Ghostface is really good towards the end of the movie. The first couple Screams had really good chase scenes, but they don't have as many in the other movies, which I hope changes in 6 because I really love the chase scenes. I'm going to talk about a couple standout moments from this movie. Again, I love that chase scene between Ghostface and Gale towards the end of the movie. It's really intense and suspenseful. I love the car scene where Hallie and Sidney are in the back of the cop car, and Ghostface takes over the car and crashes, and he passes out, and they have to climb over his body out the front window. Great suspenseful, tension-filled scene. It's absolutely fantastic. I remember watching that first time and being on the edge of my seat. I love that scene so much. I really want to see Scream 2 in theaters one day. The only two Screams I've seen in theaters so far are 4 and 5 because I wasn't born for the first couple ones, and I was like 1 year old for 3. So one of these days I'd love to see 1 through 3 in theaters because I think that'd be really fun. I watched 1 through 3 many times on VHS tapes and DVDs. Again, I like the writing of this movie. Of course, Kevin Williamson is amazing. He does a really good job with the horror and the characters. I think the meta and comedy is toned down slightly. I mean, it's still in there, obviously. And I love it, I wonder if anyone else feels that way. I just feel that way. So I feel like it's a slight tone down, not like a whole lot, but a little bit. I think the other movies are cranked up, like 1 and 4, for example, and this one's just toned down slightly, which isn't necessarily a complaint. It is something different. Um, but I still like the character development, um, and again a lot of the great horror scenes they have in this movie. I love the intensity of this movie, from beginning to end. It has a amazing Ghostface scene, some of my favorite in the series. This is just a great tension film. The ending is fantastic. I'm gonna talk about the ending and the killer reveals. So the killers are revealed to be Mickey, and Mrs. Loomis, which I think is great. I love Mickey. He's so crazy. He's probably one of my favorite killers. Maybe like the top 3, 4. He's really good. He's just absolutely insane. Timothy Olyphant is an amazing actor. He really nails this role. Fantastic. Real. I did guess it was gonna be Mickey, but big surprise was that the Debbie Salt, the report that turned out to be Mrs. Loomis. I was shocked by that. Most people are. But my best friend, Christian, he's very good at guessing stuff, and he did guess it. Um, and I'm actually watching with my other best friend. His name is Lewis. I'm watching some of the movies with him for the first time. So he's watched 1 and 2 so far. He did really like 1, but he did not like 2. Which is not uncommon. Some people really don't really like 2 and 3. So I can see why to a certain degree, because I'm gonna get into the negatives in a little bit. But yeah, I really overall like the story of this movie. I like the ending. I love the theater setting at the ending. I think it's really just like atmospheric and just like a great finale. I love the intensity with the two killers. Between them and Sidney, and Gail comes in. And Cotton, I love Cotton. It was a big part of the ending, and he actually killed, he killed Mrs. Loomis. So that's pretty cool. Not many other like smaller. I wouldn't say he's like a small character, but he's a pretty big character for this movie, but like within the franchise, and he actually killed one of the Ghostfaces, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I love this the intensity of this ending. It's just fantastic. It's just for a while I think it was one of my favorite climaxes of a Scream movie. I just think it's really well done, and this great writing, great intensity, great horror scenes, and it's funny with Mickey and Mrs. Loomis because they're so bonkers. I love it. But I'm gonna talk about a couple negatives. So this movie is, I think, one of the longest ones. So it does slow down a couple times, which people don't love. And I understand that. I didn't mind it personally. I like character pieces, and like character development, drawing things out. But it does slow down quite a bit, which I understand why people like. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind it personally. But a couple things I don't like personally, is like I said, I loved that Mickey was the killer, but he wasn't in the movie for 45 minutes until the reveal. The last scene was him in the cafeteria, and he doesn't. He wasn't in the movie at all until he was revealed, which I think is disappointing because Billy and Stu were in the whole movie until they're revealed, basically. So I think you need a healthy balance between them, you know, being in a good amount of the movie, so there's a good payoff for the reveal, and I don't think we got that with Mickey entirely. But him being amazing killer kind of makes up for a little bit, but still, he should have been in the movie more. Another thing I don't like is how they killed Randy. Like I said in the first video, he's one of my personal favorites. And I think they could have done a way better job with the emotion of his death. They kind of just like it's almost feels shrugged off. He's like dies and they're like, oh, it's sad, and they don't talk about it at all. I mean, it's brought up in Scream 3, but I just think they could have done a way better job with the emotional aspect of that of his death. I thought that was disappointing, and him dying is disappointing. But you gotta have stakes, so I understand that aspect of it. I just wish his death would have been way better than it was. But overall, I absolutely love this movie. Just like a couple negatives. Besides that, this is a fantastic sequel. I absolutely loved it. I watched it many times. I would give this one an A minus. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You have a great day and take care. Bye.